Hi guys, we've got Christian Hertlein from IDEO, Germany. Christian is the senior interaction designer there, and about the company you can find on the web, but most of you probably know the company and their achievements and the projects and designs they did. Christian had a talk, just finished the talk, about user experience designer as a, well, nice metaphor, a conductor, because in fact, according to what you said, a user experience designer is a person that not only deals with the design, but also with the really specific management challenges that, that he meets in everyday life. Why?
Why?
Why you have to be prepared to manage such specific environment and not only focus on designing?
I mean, as a user experience designer in general, I mean, you have to address the people needs, and therefore it's not only about designing something, it's really about how can we actually create the experience, which also includes obviously more aspects, and therefore we are not using only tools like, I don't know, Photoshop or something else. We're using methods in order to translate the user needs into something, and then we need the tools, and then we are just the designer,
Okay, so what are the projects that in your career you remember the most, if it goes for connecting all these environments of technology and human behavior and experience, of course, and design and prototyping, you know, hard and software stuff?
So, for instance, Albert, which is a portable payment device created for the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. So we worked on a new device for them, and we designed and implemented this device together with the open platform Pi.
Okay.
Why we did that?
Yeah.
The open platform.
Why they needed it?
Exactly, because they figured out that current systems are not like they should be. The whole user experience was a completely different one. It is really about, especially because this topic is really about security, but it is, and it seems like there are no really nice user experience example out there. And therefore we created this portable device and the platform especially also to combine the needs of the bank, of the merchant and the customer. So the merchants, for instance, are able to customize the theme completely, which is happening on the screen. The bank have an interest in terms of using new devices or perform new devices, and the customer has a completely different understanding. For instance, accessibility, as I just mentioned in the talk, was really important. How can we actually create a touch device to make it accessible? No buttons, exactly, and the learning there was really important, and that's exactly the point where you have to go out, you have to create prototypes, you have to test them, and like I said in the talk, it was really about the surprise that what we thought, how people, I mean, just imagine sitting on a chair and try to use this device without seeing anything, and we were really surprised that they, even though we did it, they use it in a completely different way.
An example?
For instance, the border around.
Would you please just tell me how did it look like?
Okay, there's a 7-inch tablet integrated, so it's about A5 size, and so it's like a bit like tilted to the user. And we integrated this touch screen, and the touch screen had a border, and we actually
and the cable.
And the cable, exactly. Yeah. And we haven't thought about the border. So the blind people were not able to say where the screen begins and ends.
Okay.
So really starting at the side of the device and using your fingers in order to figure out where are the action buttons actually, and we haven't thought about that because it was clear for us because we saw the device and we knew too much about it, obviously. And sometimes it's really just have a step back and then think about from zero again. And that was really interesting to see that we have to give them haptical or audible feedback in order to say, okay,
where are you with your finger?
Where are you? What are you doing exactly?
Yeah.
So supporting
how
them.
did you solve it finally?
We balanced it in terms of using haptic feedback, so vibration and acoustic feedback through headphones. So there is a headphone plug now integrated, like you probably know from the ATM machine, exactly. And so they can get feedback, they get a guidance through the whole menu, and the haptic feedback will help them when they, for instance, leave the screen, so the touch area.
Okay, so it's something like a parking assistant in the car when you move.
Exactly, a bit like that. Like you hear the sound, it's getting more, exactly, a bit like that.
That's clever, that's a good idea. Have you got any advices for people that are dealing with the user experience, how to be more universal designer rather than just user experiences and using just standard methods? Have you got any advices for people that would like to just expand their practice to being more universal?
So yeah, like I said in my talk, it was really about, I emerged 3 principles for me. So never stop learning, because it is really about learning constantly new tools, new methods, how you actually can do something, and by keep practicing them. So this is really important, because you have to know how to use these tools to integrate them into a repertoire, and then you are able to choose them in the right moment. So it is a balance of going deep into a tool, or just know what you actually can do with it and then integrate that into your daily process when it's needed. And the third one is really obvious, like be empathetic and change perspectives. Like we did with a payment device. So you have to put yourself sometimes into a role of a blind person. You have to be empathetic. You have to understand actually what they are doing, and this is really, really important to create innovations out there. So that are the 3 principles that everybody, I think, can integrate in the daily life. And even though they are really broad, exactly, they're broad, but they will help a lot.
Great, thank you very much. And I noticed that you use an activity tracker, Jobon. As I told you, I got mine. I just left it at home charging, and I forgot it for the first time since I got it. So, how do you think? How many steps you just made during this interview? Because you know, even moving your hand, you're walking in its opinion. So, how do you like it, by the way?
I like it. I'm missing a few things, but I like the simplicity. And what I realized is, obviously I'm working a lot in a chair on my computer. So even though I can record my activities, that means sometimes really a lot. So I guess within this talk, probably, or within this interview, probably 100 times.
Something like 100, right? Yeah. So okay, so because you're orchestrating, you're a conductor, your user experience, we got a little gift for you here, just to remind you about this meeting and about this this event, this user experience Poland. So hopefully you will like it and you will use it in everyday life at the office. Just a small little thing.
Thank you very much.
Quite useful, and design is also.
Should I open it now?
Yes, please. It won't blow.
Nice, orchestrating. Yeah. There we are.
So this is this is a cup for a small coffee.
To remind me.
Yeah, just to remind you about this place.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the interview, and thank you for a really good talk. Thank you.
You're welcome.